Hey everyone, and welcome to Tuesday night Blessed by Plexus Zoom call. We're so excited that everyone is on the call with us tonight, and have a special guest today. I'm so very excited to welcome my dear friend Ryan Evans. Ryan and I met. It's been a while back. We really met and got to talk at a retreat in Little Rock, Arkansas. That's why I say if anything is near where you are, you need to go, whether it's an event, if it's a sideline event, a retreat, a meeting, wherever, because the sweetest thing about Plexus is the relationships that you make with people. And Ryan has a dear friend of mine. I absolutely love her. She's a wife and mama and Emerald Ambassador, and I'm so glad to have her on the call, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to her because I wasted so much time getting this call started. So take it away, Ryan.
Yay! Okay, I'm super excited that I get to do this tonight because I feel like the biggest blessing in Plexus for me is getting to share my story because I have a really powerful story, and every time I get to tell it, I get to relive it and realize how far that God has brought me. So I kind of want to just tell you my story. So, and it might shock you how it's going to start. I hated Plexus. I had never tried it before. But I had a friend who was posting about Plexus and all the great, amazing things. And here I was, completely broke and extraordinarily sick. And it just ticked me off, like to no end, to the point where I really just started bashing her on Facebook. Like Plexus, talking about how ridiculously horrible it was. So if that tells you anything about where I was mentally and just as a person, where my personal growth was as a person, it was not very good. I just didn't have anything good to say about Plexus. I was so broke and I was so sick. I did not want to see somebody holding up a check and getting a free trip to Orlando. It just made me mad. And I actually hid her on Facebook. Jessica Heffley is who I'm talking about. She knows I tell the story all the time. I hid her. And that little booger had the audacity to come up to my place of work to talk to me, even though she knew I was bashing her on Facebook. She knew I was really sick. After I had my oldest son, I've had health problems my whole life, but after I had my oldest son, I had a lot of complications during the delivery, and after he was born, I was in the hospital for, I think it was 14 days. I was very, very sick. I lost a lot of blood. I had seizures, and that marker right there pretty much spiraled my health out of control. And I was having to get lots of iron infusions. Basically, this is how it would work. I would go into, it was a hematologist. It was hematologist/oncologist. So I would go into the office. They would take my blood work, and they would figure out what nutrition I was not absorbing. I had a small part of my small intestines taken out because it was dead, and they tested it and told me I had celiac disease. So I had this huge diet change. Changed my diet, and then I'd go in, and at the beginning I was going in weekly, every 2 weeks, and getting infusions and sometimes blood transfusions, and they don't know why. They can't tell me why. They just knew my hemoglobin level was low, and that I wasn't absorbing nutrition. And I got to the point where I had huge chunks of my hair that were falling out, so I was kind of bald. Y'all remember for a while there, like that side ponytail, like the side poof thing was really popular. So I pretty much wore that all the time to like keep certain bald spots hidden. And then the eyelashes right here on this eye all fell out. And so it was just because my body was not absorbing nutrition. And so for somebody to tell me that I could drink this pink drink and take her pills and be magically healed and then make money doing it just sent me over the edge. It just really ticked me off. So here she comes up to my office, and let me tell you what she did. She never proposed Plexus. This is what she said. She said, I am in the business of helping people with their health, and I understand that you might not want the help, but I am so curious about celiac, and I'm curious about your health journey, and I want to learn from it. That's how she talked to me. And after I explained my health journey at my place of work in my office, which I could not believe she came up to my work, she said, Ryan, I want you to hear my heart. I really want you to try this. And at the time, guys, there was no money. And when I say no money, I mean no money. I could not have gone and bought a tank of gas. There was no money. And she said, what if I gave it to you for 1 month? Would you take it consistently and report to me every single day? I said, yes, I will take it for 1 month. And when it does not work, I am going to blast you on Facebook and tell everybody that you're ripping people off. And she went out on a limb and said, okay. And so she gave me the triplex and X Factor, and she religiously checked in with me daily. She let me know about detox. She let me know about die-off. When I got headaches, she got excited because she said that means it's working. Which is exactly how we should respond. Anytime somebody who's a customer who's been on our products and they start having a detox or a die-off symptom, that's when we should get excited, because that means our product is starting to heal their body, which I find to be extremely effective approach. Be like, oh, I know it stinks for you right now, but I'm super excited because that tells me it is starting to work in your body. Your gut is starting to heal. And it just so happened that the 30th day I took that last ProBio was the day I had a doctor's appointment to go get my infusion like I had for the last 3.5 years. So I went into the doctor and they took my blood work, and then I sat in the waiting room and I wait for them to come up with the cocktail that they're going to feed me through my veins for the next hour. And the doctor walked in and he was like, I'm totally floored. What in the world? You are a totally different person on paper. And I was like, what? And of course, I refused to tell the guy what I'm taking. And by the way, the doctor is Carissa Casey's uncle. I don't know if y'all have heard of Carissa Casey. She's a Sapphire ambassador. She should be under me, but she's not, and that's okay. But she is. So he had full belief in the product. In fact, the nurses that hooked me up to that infusion every single month still order ProBio from me religiously because they saw the transformation that it did with my health. And actually, he really didn't believe it. So the next day, I got a text message from him. I'd do anything if I still had that phone. I don't have that phone anymore. But it said, I really am not believing your results. I need you to come back. We need to redo your blood work. I just have a bad feeling. So I went back and I got my blood work done again, and my blood work was still perfect. So I knew at that point I was racking up medical bills because I couldn't pay them, but I had to get medical attention because it's how I lived and survived. And so each infusion was just racking up, I think it was $210 every time, which I really couldn't afford to pay. So I was just collecting a huge balance, which had totaled up to be a little over $15,000 in medical bills for being sick. And I really could not afford to sign up, but I knew for the first time in forever I was actually sleeping. I could tell that my hair was growing back, which I'm not going to lie. Even if I still felt sick, if it made my hair grow back, my eyelashes grow back, I was going to figure out how to buy it because I'm vain like that. And so I asked my in-laws, like I begged, I'm like, please, can I please borrow the money? And they let me borrow the money to sign up to get wholesale prices. Now, I was not going to work the business. Everybody had seen me bash Plexus on Facebook. I had bashed the people that were selling and posting about it. I was definitely not going to work the business because that's crazy town. Only crazy people do that. But I was going to get the products for wholesale prices and goodness gracious, figure out how I could work it in to get the products every month that I needed. So I had an experience. It was 2 nights after I had signed up for wholesale prices. It was my 8-month-old at the time. He woke up in the middle of the night unexpectedly. I've been really blessed. My children have always slept through the night. I don't know how I got that lucky, but from the time I've brought them home from the hospital, they've slept 8+ hours in their crib. It's a blessing. So it was really unusual for him to just randomly wake up. He randomly woke up and he was hungry. And guys, I was out of formula. I had none. I had negative in the bank account, which is why I had to borrow money from my in-laws to sign up to get wholesale prices. And I had a hungry baby and had no way to feed him. And it was the worst, most horrible moment as a parent. I did all the right things. I went to college. I have several degrees and a master's. Really jobs, everything we needed. We made $24 too much to qualify for assistance, like for WIC or anything like that, which is not ever anything I would imagine having to get government assistance. But the reality is feeding your kids is more important. But we made $24 too much. So we just didn't have the money. And so I got my son, Cohen, to go back to sleep hungry. And I peeled myself up off the kitchen floor and I got in bed and I was scrolling Facebook. And sure enough, Jessica had added me to the team pages. And Tamara had posted on Jessica's team page, The Power of 3. I saw that magical number that was close to $15,000. And I thought, if I could make $15,000 a year, I could feed my kids. I mean, it was like this light bulb moment. I saw 3. I thought, if I can get 3 people and I can teach them to get 3 people, I can make $15,000 a year. It was like this aha moment. So here I go. It was like 1, 2 a.m. I'm messaging Jessica Heffley. I'm like, okay, I need to know how to make this Power of 3 $15,000 a year thing. And she called me that late at night and she said, that's a month. And it was like, what? A month? And from that second, I knew that I would go Emerald. I just knew it. I had my Lexus picked out. I knew it. And so, that's pretty powerful. To tell a mom, no, you don't have to drive the car. Y'all, my car. Oh, my car. Didn't have air conditioning. It didn't have heat. Anytime I turned, sounds crazy, anytime I turned left, it died. So if I was going through an intersection and I turned left, I knew I'd have to ram it and park really quick and restart it, which is really kind of dangerous, but it's the only way I had to get around. And anytime I actually opened the door to get in the car, the alarm would go off. And the alarm wouldn't go off until I turned so you can imagine me with like a baby and a toddler and opening the car door and the alarm going off, me turning, and then every time I turned, it would go off and it was hot. And here I was, and I was like, I'm going to get a Lexus. Like, I'm going to drive a Lexus. I'm going to make 6 figures a year. And I could just see it, and I felt like it was just this huge divine intervention, especially going from someone who completely made fun of plexus and ripped them apart on Facebook to, oh my word, my hair has grown back. I have eyelashes. I'm about to make money. I mean, it was just like amazing. And so from that point on, my story gets a little more detailed, and I won't go into a lot of details, but 13 days after I signed up, I became a single mom. And so here I was with 2 little boys. I was working full time. I ran a business as the director of a child development center. We were open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. And I also, my little boy's in soccer, so there's soccer Saturdays. And then on Sundays, 412 pastor at my church. 412 means 5th, 6th, and 7th grade ministry. And so my Sundays were really dedicated to my ministry. I mean, that's a lot of work. And I didn't let the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. full-time mom ministry stop me from going Emerald. So I worked the business in the nooks and crannies. When I would wake up and the kids were in the bathtub, I was posting. I did as much post planning as I possibly could. Lots of doing what I'm doing right now, telling people my story. It was a little easier for me because people could see my hair was growing back. People could see my eyelashes were back. People knew, and it was obvious that I was not sick anymore. And everybody had seen, it was obvious how sick I was. Just by looking at me, you could really tell. Plexus actually probably made me gain a little bit of weight because I was down to probably 110 pounds. I was very sick looking. I mean, people were worried about me, and it wasn't because I was not eating to be skinny. It was simply because my body just was not absorbing any nutrition. And so I went from the whole standpoint of I knew my why. I had my why established. I wanted to feed my kids, and I wanted a car that worked and was reliable. And so my why was big enough that it never got me down. I never stopped working. I never stopped pursuing my dreams. And I'll tell you the key, and this is something I tell my team or anybody new that wants to work the business, I have them write this down. Every single day, every morning and every night, I ask God to send me the people that need the products. And I ask him to send me the people that need the freedom of finances that I needed. And he has 100% done that. When there are times I feel like business isn't going exactly the way I expected, or I feel like, what am I doing wrong? I always go back to how much have I communicated with God that I am prepared to take on the people that need the products and the people that need the business. Every single time I go back to that and center myself there, the blessings just start rolling in. And then I get to see people's lives change just like mine were. I wanted to give y'all a little business tip. Sarah Biergard, do y'all know who that is? If I say Sarah Biergard, she works in our company. She's delightful. She's kind of like Susie Sunshine, and I'll be really honest with her. I had sent kind of a nasty letter to corporate, just kind of ripping them apart for, oh, I want this fixed, and I need this fixed, and I'm not happy about this, and I never thought they'd really read it. Well, they did. And so I got a lovely phone call from Sarah, and she said, I'm going to equip you with something that I think is going to change your business. And this was huge for me. And it's called, and I sent Datha, like just right as we were talking, I sent her this information, and I kind of made a little video on it for my team, but she's welcome to share that with y'all later if you'd like. I even have a little graphic. It's called You, the New, and a Few. So let's talk about when we work the business. Sometimes it's like, I don't even know how. I don't know where to start. I don't know how much time I should be delegating to X, Y, and Z. Well, first of all, hold on. Is that really loud? You can't hear it? Okay, good. They're shutting the door. I was worried my children were going to run in here naked while we were on, and that hasn't happened yet. So I'm feeling like it's a win.
That would have been great.
I kept going, no, you can't come in here. So you, the new, and the few, you, 50% of your time you are going to spend on you. What is working the business when it comes to you look like? It looks like personal development. What are you reading? How are you improving yourself? Who are you personally recruiting? That's IPAs. And then there's you stuff like team page type stuff, like who am I posting? Am I learning about the product? So when you look at your business, 50% of that needs to be you. You working the business, you personally recruiting. I can tell you now, the people in this company that continue to grow and get diamond and then go diamond gold, diamond senior gold, they are constantly continuing to personally recruit. They never stop personally recruiting. So 50% of your time has to be spent on that. And it's the first 50%. You can't do the new and a few until you've done you. Always put you first. You first. That's exactly what God wants, because if you are not filling yourself up and you are not personally developing, you cannot help the new and you cannot help the few. So the next one I want to talk to you about is the new. Now, that's new people that you've brought onto your team. Now, some of you might have smaller teams, so you might just have level ones to pour into and contribute to. And then some of you might have level 3s, level 4s, level 5s. But when we talk about the new people on your team, but here's where the tricky part gets. I feel like sometimes, you have a team page with all of them on? Do you do like a new welcome post?
Everybody just welcomes everybody. We don't have a specific post.
Okay. I think a lot of times what happens is, let's say the month of February, we see the new people posting in February. And I'm telling you, because this is my struggle. It might not be y'all's, but I really focus on those new people in February. I'm like pouring into them, and then bam, March 1st hits. And I'm focusing on those new people in March. Well, guess what? Those new people in February, they're still new. And if we want to create retention and we really, truly care about investing in people's health, and we're really, truly invested on their health journey, because after all, our business is completely null and void if we're not actually intentionally helping people get healthy. Like if you're not willing to help people get healthy, then don't work the business, because that's 100% what it's about. So go back, and I've started this new thing where I really start pulling in and talking to people in their second month, those new people in month 2. Okay, month 1, they're getting the success kit. They're getting all that new, shiny, we're excited to have you new in their month. But what about the second month? So don't forget them. So 25%. You want to invest your time 25% in the new. And I'll tell you something I've adopted. I have a little post on my team page where everybody welcomes their new people. I personally voice message every single one of those people, even if they're my level 7s, level 8s, or level 9s. I have a really deep team. And just say, hi, I'm Ryan. Welcome to my team. I'm excited about this health journey, and I'm specifically praying that this be what you need for your health. We're invested in you. We're here for you. And that right there lets them hear my voice, and they know I care. And I do specifically use that one post, and that's who I'm able to pray over. It's also the list of people I know I'm able to invest in month 2. So, and I'll really do that on my levels 1 through 3, obviously. So I went over you, the new. So you 50%, the new 25%, and then there's the few. Now this one's a kicker because here's the thing. You know, sometimes we get a runner and you're like, oh, good gravy. I'm going to invest all of my time on them. And our 50% you shrinks, right? And then the new, we shrink that some. And then we make that few really big because, oh, they're runners, right? Always want to make sure you're doing your job of 50%. You're giving 25% to the new. And then the few is another 25%, which will equal your 100. But how do you know who your few are? And I have discovered the best way to figure out who your few are. And if you can't figure out who your few are, that means you take your few percentage and you add it to your new. Because if you don't have a few, then you need to focus more on you and personally recruiting so you can have a percentage of a few. And the few are, everybody gets business building bonuses, right? If you're adding people, you get business building bonuses. So the top 5 level ones that you would be willing to trade business building bonus checks with. Ouch. Because I don't know about you, but when I figured that out, I thought, good gravy. I wouldn't trade a business building bonus check with any of my level 1s. I would with a few of my level 2s. I would with a lot of my level 4s. But with your level 1s, how many level 1s would you trade a business building bonus check with? If you can't think of one, go back to you. Personally recruit and get somebody who you know. Be like, man, I'd be willing to trade a business building bonus check with these people. And that's who you invest 25% of your time in. And I have made a little video of that, honestly, what I sent you, like I did a little while ago. So I don't really know how much of my team I talk to. But you could always watch it and make your own, Datha. But I think that's a really neat trick. It really helps me in my mindset know this is where I'm going to invest my time. I'm going to constantly personally recruit. I'm going to constantly make myself better. I'm going to constantly breathe belief into my new people and help them on their health journey. And then I'm going to invest in the few people that I would be willing to trade a business building bonus check with. So, okay, ask me questions.
That is so stinking good. I could literally listen to you talk all day. You're
awesome.
You're like my favorite. I love you. I love your heart. I'm going to put it on gallery view because you can kind of see everybody and see if anybody has a question and you can put it off of mute. So I want to reiterate to the team. And you said that if you don't have a level 1 that you're willing to trade business building bonuses with, then you need to get back to just focusing on recruiting and signing up new level 1s.
Yes. Even if you are a diamond and you are making $500,000 a year, the second that you stop personally recruiting is the second you say goodbye to your business. Jessica Heffley, I'm on Jessica Heffley's team. She's the master at making people add stinking people. I mean, she just is. She has the right words, and she flat out said to me, right after I went Emerald, and I really thought I was like, yeah, I did it. And of course, the way she works with you is once you hit one, you better push for the next one. Like there's never a stop for pushing for the next, never stop pushing for the next one. And I was like, I'm doing great. My team is growing. And she's like, they'll stop if you don't personally recruit more. And I was like, well, I kind of didn't personally recruit more for about 2 months. And then she said, I told you it would stop if you didn't personally recruit more. She said, the person that's going to get you Sapphire isn't on your team yet. And the only person that can get the person to get you Sapphire is you. I was like, oh. And from the second she told me that, I tripled my level 1s because I knew she was right. I mean, and I still have not gone Sapphire yet. There was a month I finished about 100. I was about 100 points away from Sapphire. But I mean, I've pushed really hard because I knew she said that, and I'm still constantly something that's really neat that I've done. Sunny, she's not on my team. She's just a friend. She defines the word Sunny. She's got gorgeous red hair and she's very bright and cheery. We meet up on Wednesday mornings and we hold each other accountable, and we 100% do IPAs the entire time. We message people, we reach out to people, we work our personal business and hold each other accountable for that on Wednesday mornings. And just so y'all know, I feel like you should know this. I think a lot of people are under the impression that after I started doing really well with Plexus that I quit my full-time job. This is my first month. The month of February is my first month to be a stay-at-home mom, which is something weird. I never thought I would be in this position. But I worked my job, and I am remarried now, so I'm not a single mom anymore. But I've worked my full-time job up until last month, and that's well over a year past being Emerald. So it's possible to do in the nooks and crannies of your life. You just have to be very intentional with your time. And that's why I think You, the New, and a Few is a really good guide for how you spend your time. I also will say it does not come without sacrifice. I mean, I sacrificed some sleep. I'm not going to lie. I sacrificed some sleep. I sacrificed television. Like, I hadn't watched television in a long time because it was more important to me at that point to work my business, working on You, the New, and a Few, than it was to be watching television. It was worth the sacrifice for sure. But it can be done with a full-time job. I always feel like that's important for people to know if you're thinking I'm overwhelmed or it's too much. If anytime you feel like that, message someone. Like, anytime you feel overwhelmed, just stop and message someone about Plexus and just say, hey, have you seen my Plexus post? Have you ever tried it? And then you'll feel better, because who cares what the response is? You had a point of action.
Yes. I love that. And I hope everyone really took to heart what you said, because you said that your sponsor told you that the person you needed to get to Sapphire, the person you needed was not on your team yet. And I think, because I don't have any jewels under me, I have a lot that are pushing for it. But I want them to understand too, even it's silver, gold, senior gold, whatever rank you're going for, that person, just take that to heart. What Ryan said, that person you need is probably not, or we'll just say they're not on your team yet. So just keep signing. Does anybody have any questions for Ryan before we end the call? She's a wealth of knowledge, so if anyone has a question.
Yeah, y'all ask me questions. Feel free. You can ask me anything.
Anybody?
I have a question.
Okay.
I've got my video off because I'm looking a little scary today.
Are you kidding me? Ashley Brock is the most beautiful person you've ever seen in your whole life. Okay, Ashley, ask a question.
Rachel, I love you. You're so awesome. So I work a full-time job, and I'm like recently married, like back in September. So I guess I'm just like, did you like set an hour of time that you wanted to like spend on Plexus? Because I know you're probably balancing like your full-time job. I'm just trying to find the right amount of balance without like overdoing it and still like being a wife. Yes.
Okay. I woke up and the first thing I did was Plexus. While I put on my makeup, I would listen to a call. So a video call, like a YouTube something, any kind of call, I was listening to it while I was doing my makeup and getting ready. That would give me like inspiration to inspire my team that day. Because basically, like, I'm not going to lie, I never invented the wheel on this. Like, all the information that I know, my wealth of knowledge, is because I stole it from someone else, tried it out, and it worked. And so if you're a busy person, don't reinvent the wheel. Just literally listen to what other people did and do that. And so I would listen to a call in the morning, and I would always make a post. I personally feel like being fun and engaging on Facebook is extraordinarily important. That is how I personally built my business, that and one-on-one face-to-face contact. And so I was always doing fun stuff on Facebook and being really engaging on Facebook. I'll tell you, the largest mistake I made was letting Facebook suck me in. I'm almost never on Facebook anymore unless it's an intentional, I'm going to like these people posts and comment on these people's posts, and I'm posting and I'm checking in on my team. But Facebook can suck you in, like just scrolling and stuff like that. That will waste your time and it will destroy your marriage. So don't let Facebook suck you in. Intentionally use Facebook for what it is, which is your marketing tool and the way you connect with people. And then when I was working, I would take breaks at lunch, go to the bathroom. That's when I would hop on Facebook. I might make another post. I might message somebody. And then my entire lunch break. Now, I worked with, she's a dual on my team now, Brittany Rhodes. We worked together. I was the director and she was actually my assistant. And so she would come down, and that was like our power hour was lunch. We would just like message a bunch of people at lunch. And then when that was over, I didn't get home most days until 6:30 or 7. I don't cook. I'm okay with that. My kids would eat whatever it was that I could scrounge up, either fast food or whatever I had in the refrigerator, peanut butter and jelly, whatever it was. They would eat, they would take a bath, they would get some mommy time, they would go to bed. And from the second my kids were in bed until 2 a.m., I worked Plexus. And like I said, I sacrificed sleep, but now I'm home all the time. And it's a weird, crazy, amazing freedom that I have. But that's pretty much how I divided up my time. I mean, I would work it hard in the morning. I would take a break mid-afternoon. I would hit it hard at lunch. And then as soon as my kiddos were in bed, I would work Plexus. I do think that rest is really important. I think that the devil will use busy to do bad things. So intentionally taking time to rest is important. And that's something, I feel like people need to talk to their families like, these are my business hours. This is when I'm going to be working. And this is the time when I'm not going to be working. And my family knows when my phone is in the drawer, I'm 100% theirs. But if my phone is not in the drawer, then this is my work. And if I happen to get on it, like, look, this is my life right here. If I happen to get on it, then they know mom is working. But if it's up in the drawer, then they know they have my full undivided attention. And I do have business hours now that I'm not working. When I was working, I kind of just did it whenever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I hope that
so
answers
helpful.
the question.
It did. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ashley. We want to thank, if anybody has any more questions, if not, I want to thank Ryan so much for her time. I love your story. I love what you have to share, and I love your heart. And I can't wait to see you in Vegas. And,
y'all come meet me.
And guys, if you're there, go up and meet Ryan. She's the sweetest soul, and I just love her to death. And thank you so much for doing this call for us, Ryan.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.